the media always has what we are fed, let's say from international media, versus now getting it from someone who's from the ground or has been to the ground.
We are only 15 million Jews in the world. In Israel, 9 million of them, 7 are Jews, and 2.5 million are Arabs, Muslims, but living together, And when something happens to one of us, it happens to all of us. Jew is not a race. We're not black or white or this. We have, we have black Jews, we have white Jews, we have yellow, this, that, all different races. It's not a race, it's a religion.
Yeah.
And it's not a missionary religion. You can't become a Jew. You can, but it's very difficult, So we're a shrinking religion. There's less of us. And after October 7th, there's 1,400 less of us, and just in one day. And what happened there shocked all of us. And when you say hit close to home, look, everybody saw that my son, cut his South America trip short. He was surfing, man. He was post-army. You dream of getting to that point. You finish the army, you work for a year, you save all your money, and you go to a country. I went to Kenya. After my army, I came to Kenya, He went to South America surfing, and when October 7th happened, he found a way to get back to Israel in 4 days and join his unit. He's a paratrooper, And I told him, hang on, wait, let's see, I'm a dad, right? My wife's praying the flight gets delayed.
Yeah.
And he said, no, the guys are fine. In every other country in the world, when a war happens, people escape, they run away. In Israel, we run to the war. Because you have to fight for your survival. You have to fight to protect your people, And if you see what these barbarians did, Hamas.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, this is a terrorist organization, and they are vicious. This is fundamentalist, extremist Islam at its most extreme in the world. The ISIS, it's the same kind of thing, except they went a step further. They did what ISIS did with the beheading. They did it to babies, and they did it to women, and they raped on a massive scale, and they did things that nobody's ever seen before in this world, okay? And they did it to Jews again. 80 years later, my grandfather's family was killed in the Holocaust, annihilated by the Nazis. My grandmother's sister was shot in the streets by the Nazis. We've been here before 80 years ago, and even then, when 6 million Jews were killed by the Nazis, the world stood silent for years while it was happening, Yeah. And here again, October 7th, let's look at Kenya for a second. And and I'm the last one who wants to draw any harm to Kenya. People said to me, don't draw attention. We don't want to get into this. I don't want to bring you into that. I don't want to bring Kenya. I love Kenya. I love the people here. And last thing I want, we lost friends at Westgate. I'm the last one I was here in Kikambala back in the day. I'm the last one who wants to bring any negative energy to Kenya. So that's why I've only said to Kenyans, please pray. Just pray. I know the power of prayer. Kenyans know the power of prayer. All I've been asking is pray for Israel, pray for my kids, pray for my family. Because when you understand what these monsters did, now understand, not that it's not enough what they did, because now the testimonies are horrifying. But 10 kilometers more is my wife's 2 sisters and their 6 kids, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And all their families who are like our family, of course, right? Weddings and all that stuff, and we know everybody. And now another 10 kilometers from where they were stopped by Israeli heroes who jumped on grenades and sacrificed themselves to stop them,
Yeah.
Another 10 kilometers, and that's now my mom and my brothers, and pretty much everybody I know. And they hacked everybody to death, and they raped, and they burned entire families together. And when something like that happens to you, you go into survival mode. So we've all been, my wife and I haven't slept in 2 months. Somebody said to me yesterday, it's almost Christmas, and I was shocked. I didn't notice. I'm still in October 7th. We're all still living in October 7th.
Because you can't really have much to celebrate when you don't know what's happening. Yeah.
It's still happening. Understand, at the beginning, nobody knew what had happened, okay? Nobody understood the scale. We thought, a couple of hundred. If you look at my posts, I've been very, on Instagram and Facebook, and the first days I couldn't say anything. Couldn't even speak. We were just crying all the time. But the more time passes, the more calm and measured and collected evidence and testimony is coming out of women who were raped. Imagine one woman, I don't know if I should say this on the radio, but one woman raped over 14 hours by 25 terrorists in one house while her husband has a gun in his mouth and is made to watch throughout the whole time, crying his eyes out, and then they killed him. She's alive.
Oh, and then they killed him after?
Yeah. So that's the kind, at the festival, we've all worked these big shows, right? We've all been on the stages with the 5,000, 10,000 people in front of us. You're the DJ, you're the guy, you're the MC on stage, right? Or singing. Imagine us standing in front. There's a video. It's on my Instagram. Yeah, from the Nova Festival. 3,000 people in a 3-day out in this. If you see this area, it's like desert. It's beautiful, beautiful area. Yeah.
Yeah.
3,000 people in tents with a DJ dancing house trance. Not my style of music, but dancing up and down. People really with kids, everything. Yeah. And then out of nowhere, the rocket sirens begin, and they say, oh, okay, rocket attack. We're used to rocket attacks, so let's go to cover. And then suddenly, no, it's terrorists. And then the pickups arrive with all these terrorists. And then for hours, they rape women. The testimonies are one woman passed around 8 men, and then they shot her in the head at the end. Then they cut off her breast and played with it. They did horrific things, unspeakable things, yeah? And then 57 days later, imagine 57 days later, the UN women come out with a statement. It took them 57 days. On the day, no tweets from anybody, not human rights, not nobody. After 57 days, UN Women comes out with a statement saying that they unequivocally condemn the rape of Israeli women and Palestinian women. Excuse me, why? Palestinian women were not raped. We don't do that. Why did you need to balance the statement? Why does everybody constantly and obsessively need to balance another side? There is no other side to the devil. There is darkness and there is light. There is good and there is evil. These people did things which are satanic, devilish, horrific, like nothing we've ever seen. There is no other side to that. You can talk politics all you want, but first, you must recognize it for what it is and say, no, up and stop. Up until here. This I cannot support. This I must say something about. And if you listen to the song Never Again, I'm saying, why is everyone so quiet? Why? Why is the world... It's not bad enough this happened to us. We woke up to a world that said it didn't even happen. Or worse, you deserved it. What surely could any human being do to deserve such a thing?
Wow.
Sindio.
Nikweli. That's a very touching story, man.
I wrote love songs and I enjoyed it and I gave that out of me, and everybody, you know, you Sema Milele, Unajua, those songs, and that's love and light, and even Mapenzi, ukipana mapenzi utapokea mapenzi, that's another song message. But here, this is different. This song, and I really want people, you know, I'm not, you know, excuse me for pushing, but the link on YouTube, Tafadalini, watch the video and then judge. Leave a comment, and if that comment is mean and hateful on the YouTube, you'll join your friends. There are many there already. It's okay. And if it's positive, then you're welcome too. But watch and then judge. Educate yourself and then judge. Don't use words like Zionist as if they are a bad word. It's not a bad word. It's a movement to create a homeland for Jewish people, and it doesn't exclude anybody, and the proof is that there are 25% Arabs in Israel. So don't, if you're going to hate based on knowledge. Don't hate because you're some sheep following the crowd. Be a leader, not a follower. If you're going to hate for good reason, you know, and then preferably don't hate, yeah?
Yeah.
But if you're gonna at least educate yourself. Don't just push the tweet button just blindly so that to get retweets, because you're not, you know, we were talking
yesterday. Not basing
yesterday.
it on facts.
You know, we were talking about this yesterday on the radio.
Yeah.
I'm a Kenyan now,
yeah.
Yes? On this weekend, I trended on Twitter. Yeah, number 2, but not for a good reason. 11,000 negative tweets, okay? Hateful, anti-Semitism, the level of which in 20 years I've never seen in Kenya expressed, ever, anywhere. It was, wow. I mean, if you look at this, what people, Hitler was right, they should have killed the Jews. I mean, oh my God, the level of things people were saying just 2 days after I was at the stadium in front of the whole country, yeah?
Yeah.
And what bugged me was that as Kenyans, do we wish each other's children bad things? Would we wish each other's children bad things?
You Never. Shouldn't, but there's some people
It's not in the culture. People don't do it. It's not in your culture. It's not in the Kenyan culture. When you are fighting with someone or arguing, you don't go to the kids. You don't wish the kids. And the stuff that was said about my kids on Twitter, it would have been nice. I mean, a lot of people stood back and said, you shouldn't say this, yeah? But I mean, people let loose a hatred, the kind of which is all... Now, friends told me, listen, Kenya is not... Social media, the Twitter does not represent Kenya. Your people...
And there's some people who are they're very comfortable doing these things behind a keyboard.
Behind the keyboard. A very famous, respected Kenyan artist called me and said to me, you're... The people who... And by and large, Kenyans do support Israel, And those people are in Mashinani, and they're in the churches, and they all have an Israel flag in that church, and they're all praying their hearts out. And I see it. I mean, the amount of positive messages I get way, way, way outweighs the negative. Leave alone this Twitter thing, but like you said, it's a bunch of warriors hiding behind the thing. But not that I'm, I'm not downsizing KOT. KOT in the past, when they did that, you remember when Obama visited and there was the hashtag, a hotbed of terror, and KOT fought back? That was heroic. To get CNN to change a headline I was so proud of Kenyans for making them, I was part of that. I was all tweeting, hotbed of talent. We were all fighting, right?
Yeah.
So I know that KOT is a powerful thing. I just, it was the first time I've ever seen it turned against me kind of thing. And everybody really let loose. And I felt myself, I wish some of the people who were tweeting I could really have a conversation with and say, you need to know more facts. You really need to know more before you let loose such hatred. Yeah? You can't just follow the train, because that's dangerous.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.